this is Kevin, once again presenting another one of my armies, the 15 millimeter representation of the armies of Russia, probably between 1760 and 1790s, mostly under Catherine II. There's not a whole lot of information I could find, but of course Krause is always very, very helpful. But Catherine II, she was kind of a lowly German princess. Her name was Sophia Friederike Auguste von Anhalt-Zerbst-Dornburg, so from northern Germany, and she married into the Tsarist Romanov dynasty in 1745. She kind of oversaw the murder of her peculiar and very incompetent husband, Tsar Peter III, in 1762. So it's kind of an interesting thing. She inherited this great country from Peter the Great and built it what we saw during the 7 Years' War. She was really a master politician. She was also one who was deeply in love with the arts, very much like Frederick II. And this woman amassed an amazing amount of art. About 40,000 books. I think they said something close to about 4,000 paintings. Truly an amazing, amazing lady. But she also reconstructed the Russian army, which was not as weak as Frederick had thought. So I tried to recreate it. I'm fascinated with the battles that happened between Prussia and Russia, and Austria, of course, alongside of them. So I'm going to try to depict what I can and give you an idea of how I built my 7 Years' War army of Russia under Catherine II. I'm just going to pan across my 7-foot by 5-foot table. Put all of the Russians out there, and they fit on the table if I put them in 3 lines with supporting artillery and cavalry, and I just kind of laid them out there a little bit on the march, some in line. The figures are all from Old Glory. I think they made a very, very nice 7 Years' War figure, and I really enjoyed painting it. It wasn't a very difficult army to paint, but I did both the summer jacket in green, or in red, which wasn't a jacket. They just took off the green jacket. Very, very smart, actually, if you think about it. It's hot, and they've got that heavy green wool jacket, and they just shed it and put it in the baggage, and underneath was their red coat. So I painted it that way, both green and red, so it's a little bit of a double army. The cavalry, I tried to represent as best I could, very, very deep blues, colorful in every right. I wasn't aware that they were so blue. I thought they might be green until I got into the website by Krause, and regiment by regiment, he has everything organized just brilliantly and perfect. So I really appreciate Richard and his very, very fine work. Without him, there was no way that I could have built this army with any ease whatsoever. That man in Canada that has put together this website for all of us is truly an amazing gentleman. Tirelessly working, is not paid for it, but he has created a Wikipedia on the 7 Years' War that should be given a Nobel Prize. So anyway, enough with that, but I wanted to point you to him. He's just a wonderful chap, and you all should support him, and either with some funds or maybe from time to time an email. You know, when all the figures arrived from Old Glory, it was just daunting. I didn't know what to do. You could see this is already painted. I'm starting to mount, and it was easy because you didn't have to put facings on. They all had the same facing, so it made it a little bit easier, but it was a daunting task. But when it was done, that's what it looked like. It really turned out extremely nice. I used the flags that I could find, and I hope you enjoy looking at it as much as I really enjoyed putting it out there. We had, I found it probably the most enjoyable and easiest army of the 7 Years' War to paint because of the simplicity of the Russian uniforms and its design. They really did a good job. The individual flags by the regiments is what really kind of give them the color or the identity. Otherwise, you can mix and match. I could create larger regiments or brigades, but I picked the cavalry regiments and infantry regiments that I wanted to portray, and the leaders I wanted to portray, and built it basically off of two different battles, Zorndorf and Grossjägerdorf. Oh, anyway. And yeah, I had fun. The Cossacks were a lot of fun. I did two different kind of Cossacks, rural and dawn. And not that they were anything on the battlefield. You just have to build them and put them in there, right? Because the Russian army has to have Cossacks. But I hope you enjoy seeing them. The painting is, I think, well, it's not simplistic. It really turned out pretty nicely. But give me your comments, what you see and what you think. I had somebody tell me that, hey, the Russians needed white gaiters in the summer. And Richard so kindly told me that, yes, partially, but they might have also worn black. They were short on resources. So I was very relieved from a reliable source that I could keep my black gaiters on my Russian uniforms for the summer. Otherwise, I'd had to go back and paint them. Anyway, the cuirassier turned out beautiful. The dragoons, as you can see, they really pop. We played this weekend and redid the Battle of Zorndorf, the Prussians under Frederick hammering against Firmer's Russian lines, and it turned out to be pretty much the same as it did in real life, a real slugfest. But anyway, I think these Cossacks look pretty good, don't you? I think I enjoyed painting them. Yeah, what more could I say except that this is a large, very, very difficult army to beat. The Grenadiers are really tough, as you can see them there marching forward. The infantry take a beating, and they can dish it out, but moreover, they just stay there. The cavalry is relatively good. They've got a lot of elan and are eager. But I think if one was to recreate a Russian army, that I would say the easiest is to get the summer uniform and just paint them red. That would allow you to paint up an army in relative short order. But if anybody sees anything that they think needs to be changed other than white gaiters, please drop me a note and say, hey, Kevin, you got that wrong. And you know what? I'll do my very best to comply. But there it is in its glory. It's very large, it's beautiful, and it plays extremely well. Hope you enjoyed it. Until the next time, thank you all for ingratiating me by watching my videos.